Last time I cracked open the gift pack I nabbed just before Christmas of Glenmorangie Scotch, I tried their classic offering, the entry-level Scotch in their range. Now it's time to start working my way through the age statements, and today we're going to tackle their 12-year Heritage Scotch. Let's do this. This is Whiskey. I'm John Chidgey. Always remember to drink responsibly, in moderation, and where and when appropriate. Feel free to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and visit engineer.network/whiskey, without the E, to learn how you can support the show. Thank you. Last time I touched on the history of the Glenmorangie distillery, but I didn't talk much about the distillery itself. Their water is drawn from the River Lossy, which runs right alongside the distillery. An unusual thing about Glenmorangie is that they've placed their condensers outside of the still room. Normally they're much closer than that, and generally they're in the same room. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. When my research, I couldn't see any specific reason. I'm sure there was a reason, but hey, never mind. As of about 2010, Glenmorangie had 3 wash stills, each with a capacity of 9.9 kilolitres, and 3 wash stills with 5,800 litres of capacity each. Mixing my units, sorry. Anyway, both of the types of stills, they're shaped more like a pear, and they're relatively short compared to the industry average. Now, Glenmorangie did all their own barley malting back in the old-fashioned way with floor malting, and that was until 1958. And then they changed that out to use the Saladin box, which I've talked about in a previous episode. That said, they only used the Saladin box for about 20 years, and then they stopped malting their own barley on site in 1978. They now source their malted barley from an off-site location, and they're still using locally grown barley. Glenmorangie have predominantly used unpeated barley. However, in the past 15 years or so, have begun releasing peated whiskies as well. The first one of those was released in 2009. Now, the Heritage range, including this, the 12-year release, was first introduced into the Glenmorangie lineup in 2016. It costs $74 Australian for a 700ml version of the bottle from Dan Murphy's. It is bottled at a 40% ABV, and it's both chill filtered and coloured just like the classic is. It's considered to be part of their Heritage range of whiskies. The Glenmorangie website says the following about their 12-year offering. Balancing vanilla and berried notes, distilled on the banks of the River Lossy, where we have been making Glenmorangie since 1897, aged in carefully selected American oak casks. I abbreviated some of that in there because it was a bit wordier, but that's the gist of it. Anyway, on their website they have some tasting notes, and they are as follows. The colour is polished gold. The nose, rich, sweet and floral with notes of vanilla toffee and berry fruits. On the palate, toasted oak, intense dark fruits and creamy toasted vanilla. And on the finish, smooth and satisfying. A lovely balance of sweet vanilla and spiced oak delivers a smooth and well-balanced finish. Okie dokie. We'll see about that, shan't we? So, never tried this before. Let's see what we get. So that colour again, I mean it is coloured, but it is still very much a light amber. It is ever so fractionally, I would say, darker than the original. And as for legs on this puppy, it's kind of just disintegrating. I'm not seeing legs. I'm just not. Oh, there we go. Is this sort of... yeah, so really not much to speak of on the legs. Alright, let's see what this smells like. Definitely nice vanilla... nicer toffee on that one too. It's a little bit more of an interesting nose than the original, which you would hope for, having a 12-year age statement, but definitely getting some floral smell out of that nose. I'm trying to pick the berry. I can't quite nail that. Smells sweet. Don't mind that. Let's have a go. It's kind of similar mouthfeel to the original. It starts off a little bit buttery almost, and then it just goes very thin very quickly. And it's almost a bit watery. It's not too awe-inspiring in the mouthfeel, but then nor was the original. Can't really chew on that for sure. There's just not enough hanging around. That's alright. But on the palate, I'm just trying to figure out what on earth that fruit is. Maybe it's a blackcurrant. It's escaping me slightly. The finish is very quick. It's sort of a nice vanilla. Little bit of a light oakiness to it, but it is super quick. It's well and truly gone. I almost say the original had slightly more lingering burn than the 12, and that's okay. I actually this is slightly smoother and doesn't have so much of that burn, which I actually prefer. But it's what you like, eh? Yeah, I'm gonna name that blackcurrant. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm getting. It's tough though, eh? I always find it hard to pick out those the darker berries. I mean, it is kind of pleasant. It's not too bad. I think it's got a nicer nose on it for sure than the original. Let's have another go. Yeah. See, while it's on your tongue, it is kind of creamy. It just doesn't stick and doesn't stick around. Doesn't hang around. It's perfectly good though, whilst it's there. But once you've swallowed it and it's kind of the finish just goes whoop, and it goes off a shelf pretty damn quick. But it is perfectly pleasant. That's for sure. I mean, it is. It is perfectly pleasant. I mean, I'm not sure what else to add to that, to be honest. It's nice, it's not offensive, it's not super bold, it's not in your face, it's not saying, like, wake up, you just had something intense over the top, and it's just a pleasant drink. And honestly, if that's what they're going for, home run. Alright, so where does this sit? Again, on the cost front, it's a 1. It's on the high end of a 1, but honestly, that's still very affordable for a Scotch. And this is quite a reasonable Scotch, right? When it comes down to the quality, I mean, I would say, I don't have to think too hard about this. I'm going to give it a 2, straight out of the blocks. It's a nice drink for some occasional variety. It doesn't jump out and get you. It doesn't smack you in the face. It is a nice, easy drinking, straightforward Scotch. And honestly, you can't really go too far wrong with it. We come with other comparisons with like a Glenfiddich 12, for example. I personally, I'm not sure, maybe I should do a comparison of these someday, but for the moment, I would say that, I mean, first of all, okay, look, it's a green, and generally want to keep some of these on hand, and I mean, I could see myself reaching this from time to time. It's not necessarily the sort of drink that I would reach out for on a regular basis, but for something different, why on earth not? Cheers. See you next time. Yeah, that's all right. It's all right.